What are things Hollywood has tricked the general population into believing? Paramedics are constantly running and push the stretcher into the air at breakneck speed with doctors and nurses running alongside down the hallways. That LA is clean and Hollywood is glamorous. LA is not clean and Hollywood, the neighborhood, has some of the worst homelessness, and after leaving a show on Sunday I nearly walked through a steaming downhill right off Hollywood Boulevard. You can hold all of another person's weight with one arm hanging off a cliff. You can outrun a giant explosion. That CPR brings practically anybody back to life, no matter what happened to them. Air conditioning ducts are an easy way to sneak through buildings. Knocking people out with a blow to the skull or jaw is a harmless way to temporarily incapacitate. That car doors are somehow bulletproof. That old cars are made of unstable explosives. Sprinkler head pops easily, and the water is clean. As a fire alarm tech, the temperature to pop a head isn't a low one and the water is usually black and smells disgusting. You can pull the tab off a hand grenade with your teeth. It's more like the tab of the grenade pulls your teeth out. That helicopters can sneak up out of nowhere. That mavericks who play by their own rules have a ridiculous amount of job security. Hackers that furiously tap on the keyboard for 30 seconds. I'm in. Fire alarm pull stations setting off the sprinkler system. That missile/RPG rounds are slow and easily dodgeable by a human. RPG rounds fly at 300 meters per second. You are not dodging that. That you can shoot somebody in the leg and it's harmless. How glamorous the Walk of Fame is. Hollywood Boulevard is dirty and full of cheap shops selling shit and homeless people. Bullets can be shrugged off like a flesh wound. If I'm in high school and my mom or dad makes a huge breakfast to cover an entire dining room table, I'm going to be late to school that day cause ain't no way I'm choosing school over the once in a lifetime breakfast and just grabbing a piece of toast gotta go, or I'll be late. That people with normal jobs can afford the most luxurious of apartments in New York, San Francisco, etc. That you can enhance photos despite the grain or pixelation. If you enlarge a photo you will not get a crystal clear image. Sex ends with rolling over and going to sleep and not cleaning up after. If you keep bothering her long enough she will fall for you. Nap, she will just think you are creepy. That silencers on guns are really quiet. Guns make noises whenever you move them or aim at someone. That as long as you love someone it'll work out. Never mind the amount of work it takes to make a relationship work or that how you feel about someone will change because both of you change. You can get anywhere in a major city in minutes and there is always an open parking spot in front of any place. That you need to wait 24 hours before you report someone missing. Mexico is pus-colored. That if you are in a coma, the only medical assistance you'll need is a nasal cannula and fourth hydration. That clear shower doors have this innate biosensor that allows them to limit the steam up effect just high enough to obscure from the outside point the more private parts of human anatomy. That 20-somethings who work serving coffee can afford a beautiful Manhattan apartment. That when you get shot it propels you across the room. That high school was gonna be this epic thing. Bullying. While classic high school and middle school movie bullying can be seen in real life, it's realistically and commonly much less direct. It's more passive aggressive. Sometimes they even pretend to be nice, but you can tell they are only speaking to you because their friends find it funny or it was a dare. Rarely will you see a jock push a nerd up against his locker. Students, in my experience, will immediately call them out for that. Bullying is a lot more complex, from what I've seen. Suppressed firearms sound like pew pew. That women will freak out if a dude accidentally walks into the wrong bathroom and sees them all doing horrible things like washing their hands, fixing their hair, and checking their macube. We don't. We usually just tell you you're in the wrong room or ask if you are looking for someone. That people always talk in clear, coherent and meaningful sentences without any ums or ahs. Really surprised not to see this here, that all frogs make the ribbit noise. It's just the sound of a frog that lives in the Hollywood Hills. Other frogs make all manner of sounds including barking. Shower sex never requires lube and it's super hot every time. That the difference of rich and poor in America is just upper middle class and middle class. They make it seem that people can take a serious beating and keep on functioning, when in reality one punch to the face that lands well will knock you unconscious. That high schoolers look like they're in their mid to late 20s. Carrots are not a normal part of rabbit diets and are too high in sugar for them. We all think this only because of Bugs Bunny. Ain't no rule says a dog can't play basketball. Dropping a lit cigarette into gasoline will cause the gasoline to ignite. The birth of a child takes under an hour, starting with a huge splash and as her water breaks, then the baby is here within a few minutes, requiring a mad dash through the hospital in a wheelchair. That you can gain access to any high security facilities as long you have obtained a access card from an employee. That firing guns in the air is completely safe. That guns aren't insanely loud, and that bullets can be stopped by a couch. A second and bomb ticking time is approximately 20 seconds in real time. I'm in criminal justice. A lot of my students come in thinking they're either going to be CSI or FBI, despite the two careers being different and incredibly hard to get to. But the worst are the students who think they are going to profile serial killers because they are just so interesting and I have to know how they work. There's no secret formula or combo that makes a serial killer, Cameron. And they've been studied to death, pun intended. Water from a sprinkler system is crystal clear and, from the character's reaction, odorless. That during a stressful and traumatic experience like a hostage situation or a massive fire/earthquake/tornado, at least one hot woman will be single and ready to mingle. Nuclear waste barrels are filled with toxic sludge. Any woman is attainable with persistence. That attraction leads to ripping each other's clothes off, smashing mouths and having panting, vigorous, relief-filled animal-like sex. But please, correct me if I'm wrong. Basically, anything about guns. I've only seen a few movies that accurately depicted firearms. I'd rant about it, but I'd end up writing an essay instead, lol. You must make up with the one in pouring rain and propose to them while you look like a homeless wet cat. You make a horse pulling a carriage go forward by flicking the reins. That there are a lot more serial killers going around, leaving their MO, toying with police, murdering half the population in a city. Injuries and trauma are temporary and easy to get rid of, then you're good as new. No food shopping trip is complete without a baguette poking out of the top of the shopping bag. That you can close a dead body's eyes. If you try to close a body's eyes, like they do in movies, the eyes will just pop open again. You need to cock a gun 14 times. Women always have shaved legs and armpits, even in a zombie apocalypse. They also never have their periods at an inconvenient time. Imagine getting abducted or having to run from the bad guys and, oops, surprise, period is here early. All Americans live in Manhattan or suburban LA. Nowhere else exists. Everyone also has at least a middle class lifestyle and there is no poverty. That you don't need to clean yourselves and the mess after having sex. We should all hate our mother-in-law. My mill was a wonderful woman and I miss her. When I was growing up, I genuinely thought American teens were huge and more grown up than us. We get a lot of American TV/films, and it was pretty standard. Those kids were older looking than normal kids. Didn't occur to me the actors were all adults in real life. So yeah, that 6-foot school kids with a 5 o'clock shadow. That sharks are bloodthirsty man-eaters out to get you. That a landmine only explodes when you lift your foot again after stepping on it. While most of them go off right away when stepping on it. That torture actually is a good way to extract information from captured people, that it basically always works and never backfires. Cut the blue wire. Social workers, if we exist at all, only want to take your kids. Shooting locks does anything. That for 30 plus years Danny Glover has been getting too old for this shit. That even though the drink is full, the straw sounds like it's almost empty. According to my wife, that you can safely just shoot someone in the legs. That law enforcement has crazy computer abilities. Look people, the art department in any PD is 5 to 10 years behind what you currently see on shelves today. Not 5 to 10 years ahead of today. Only the military has that kind of stuff. Being a cowboy was a glamorous position to hold, and they were overwhelmingly white. In reality, being a cowboy fucking sucked, and was looked down upon, and nearly half were black and Hispanic. Viking helmets all had horns. When you go to a random bar and ask for a beer, the bartender will automatically know what brand you want. That there is sound in outer space? No, there is not. There is no air to vibrate, ergo, there is no sound. The shy girl next door, with glasses, just needs a good Machiavelli. That Hollywood is this magical place, but in reality the homeless walk around like the Walking Dead and the sidewalks smell like cat piss. For a long time, they played up every awards show, Oscars, Grammys, etc. They are just now realizing most people don't give a damn about celebrities patting each other on the back. The stereotypical Native American appearance, that we all wear a headdress, armbands, live in teepees, etc., ignoring all of the other beautiful cultures that come with being native/indigenous. Unfortunately, we have been put through so many stereotypes, but that's the first one that comes to mind. As a reminder, we are still here and not extinct. We will go to Vegas, and we will get rich, because luck is favorable us. That every piece of technology constantly makes beeping sounds. That quicksand was going to be a bigger issue than it actually is in reality. If someone goes missing, the community cares enough to form a search party, hold press conferences, etc. That as soon as you cross the border into Mexico, you enter either the Old West or a third world wasteland.